Good afternoon, my people. So I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna do this video with y'all. It's about the fifth time I've done it, so be patient with me because I might erase it and have to do it again. So we're gonna talk about your lesson this week. Your lesson has a lot of this first paragraph in it. Not a lot, but a couple of questions are like this. It's gonna ask you, how many moles of NaCl do you need to prepare 1 liter of 3M NaCl? That is self-explanatory. How many moles of 3 mole solution do you need? You need 3 moles. That's what it's asking for. It sounds like a trick question. You're going to look at it and say, how many moles do I need of a 3 mole solution? You need 3 moles. Okay? If it's asking you how many moles of a NaCl do you need to prepare a half a liter of 3 mole solution, that's where you get into the math. Okay? And so you need to pay attention to your paragraphs. You need to go ahead and write on a sticky note, this was self-explanatory. You need 3 moles for a 1 liter 3 mole solution. And you need to go ahead and say that and put a sticky note there and then move on to the next paragraph and take notes. And you're going to take notes by writing out this math problem. So this is what this math problem looks like. So this is what if you only want 500 milliliters of 3M NaCl? So 500 milliliters is half a liter. We know that because 500 plus 500 makes a whole liter. Okay, 500 milliliters plus 500 milliliters makes a liter. I would write that on a sticky note. 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. 500 milliliters is half a liter. Go ahead and write that down on a sticky note because they're going to ask you that several times in your lesson. About 500 milliliters, 200 milliliters. You're going to be getting that. So I'm going to show you how to work out the math. Okay. So I'm going to step you through this. All your math problems are just like this. So I'm going to physically work this out. So what if you only want 500 milliliters, which is half of a liter? You're going to put, just like in the book, 1/2 of a liter times, and then you're going to say 3, and then moles, liters, because it's a 3M solution. And what does that equal? So you're going to cancel these two out, and then you're going to write it like this. Times 3 over 1 moles equals, okay, so now we have 1 times 3 equals 3, and 2 times 1 equals 2. Okay, so just like I've taught you, the bottom number is on the outside of the division problem, so it's 3 divided by 2 equals 1.5 moles. When you put that in the calculator, 1.5 is what you're going to get. You always take a whole number and go ahead and drop a 1 under it so you can do the math. Okay? So the answer is 1.5 moles. Now, what if you want 3 liters of a 2 mole solution? You're going to do the same thing. And you're going to go ahead and put them in a fraction form only because it gives you that practice, okay? So you're going to do 3 liter times 2 mole on a liter. These are going to cancel each other out. So you're going to write it like this. You're going to go 3 times 2 equals 6 moles. Okay? So if you have 3 liters of a 2 mole sugar solution, each liter of solution needs 2 moles of sugar. So you're going to do 3 times 2, okay? I would go ahead and write that on a sticky note because you understand it by reading it. And I would read it out loud if you're having problems comprehending this. Okay? You see the math? 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 liters times 2 mole solution. So how many moles do you need if you have 3 liters? You need 6 moles of sucrose in order to have 3 liters of a 2 mole solution. How many liters of water do you need? Or solvent do you need? You need 3 liters of solvent, and you need 6 moles of sucrose. Now, if you only had 1 liter of solvent, how many moles would you need for a 2M sucrose solution? You would only need 2 moles. But because they're asking for 3 liters, you need 6 moles. Do you understand? We're going to move on to the next one. Okay? It's simple, but our brains want to make it hard, and it's not hard. Okay, you're going to go ahead and read this next paragraph, and you're going to go ahead and write this math problem out. Remember, you put a 1 under this 2. You cancel the liters out because all it's asking for is moles. So it's 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 1 equals 4. So you're going to have a fraction that looks like this. 6 over 4. And remember, that 4 is on the outside, so you're doing 6 divided by 4. And that's 1.5 moles. Again, all the math is the same. I could have worked that problem out by just dropping a 1 under that whole number. And 3 times 2, 4 times 1 equals 64. Okay? We're going to move on to the next one. Now this is like you need 2 moles of NaCl to add to a liter of water. Okay, so how do you know how much is the molecular mass of this solute? Well, you work it out. Na is 23 grams. Cl is 35.5 grams. So we all know that NaCl is 58.5 grams per mole, right? So if I need 2 moles of this, how would I work that out? Well, 2 moles of 58.5, so we cancel the moles because we're not needing that. We just need the grams. So now you have 2 times 58.5, which equals 117 grams. You write this math problem out on a sticky note on the side. It will help you work your problem out. If you write the problem after reading the instructions, you will remember how to work this math. But if you continue to just skim over it and you get to a math problem, you're not going to understand it unless you take notes on your paragraph and you write these math problems out yourself. So here's another one. There's 100 grams in a mole of CaCO3. There's 100 grams. How do we know that? Because she went ahead and did the atomic mass of each one of these elements, and she added them together, just like we learned the last 4 weeks. Okay, and so they need 1.5 times that. So you do 1.5 mole times 100 grams equals 150 grams. So there's 100 grams in a mole of this. So there's 150 grams in 1.5 moles. Okay? So you add 150 grams to a liter of water to make a 1.5 mole solution. Now sometimes they're going to ask you how many grams is in a 1.5 mole solution of CaCO. So that's when you break it down. You find out how many grams is in 1 mole. And then you figure out how much half of that is. Okay? And that's where we're going to do it here. So it's going to say this is the molecular mass of KMNO4. Okay? And 1/2 of a mole of this is, there's that math problem again, 1/2 times 158 over 1. Okay? So you're going to have, it's going to look like this. 1/2 times 158 over 1 equals 1 times 158. And 2 times 1 is 2. So this is your math problem, which equals 79.5, I believe. No, just straight up 79 grams. Okay, it's 79 grams. Do you see how they did the math? Do you see 1/2 mole times, and then they did put a 1 under that 158, because it's 1 times 158 equals 158. 2 times 1 equals 2. So that's how they did that math problem right there. It looks just like that. Do you understand? And then you would do a sticky note working that problem out so you'll remember what it looks like. Because when it goes from your eyes to your brain and out your hands again, you remember it. Don't just read it. Process it through your brain and let it come back out of your hands. It's the same math. We're going to move on down to this next one. The molecular mass of salt is 58.5 grams. Okay? To make a liter of 0.5 mole NaCl, that 0.5 means it's half of a mole. So you have to do the math on how many grams is in a mole. What's the molecular mass of that mole in grams? And then here's your math solution. 1/2 mole times 58 over 1. You cancel out the moles, so it's 1 times 158 equal, you have 58.5. 2 times 1 equals 2. And so the math problem looks like this. 1/2 times 58.5 over 1. 58.5 over 2 equals, we're going to choose here, 29.25. So that's how much a half a mole is of the NaCl solution. And there's the math. Okay? I don't know why they didn't put a 1 there, but that's what that is. Okay? And if you're making a liter of a 0.5 NaCl, you would use 29.25 grams of NaCl to make that solution. Now, what if you needed half as much? Okay? So you needed half of that. There's your math again. 1/2 liter times 29.25 over 1 grams / liter. You're going to cancel out your liter and you're going to go 1 times 29.25 equals 29.25. And 2 times 1 equals 2. And so it's going to be like this. 2 divided by 29.25 equals 14.63 grams of NaCl solution. Okay, so if I needed a 0.25 mole solution of NaCl, it would be 14.63 grams of salt to 1 liter of water. And that's what you would write on a sticky note, because you're remembering the math each and every time, and it gives you that practice. Now this one, figure this one out. Go through and you make a sticky note for this chapter, for this paragraph. And you show me how you learned the math here, because that's what you're going to do on your work today and on your quiz. Goodbye.